everybody. I am going to walk you through how to look at Blackboard, how to navigate it, show you some of the tricky things, I guess, about Blackboard. Blackboard is not a perfect system. I have had trouble with Blackboard in the past. I know students have had trouble with Blackboard. With that being said, I think before I get into this Blackboard tutorial video, the thing I want you to remember is that if you start your work early, then you can always ask me if you have questions about where to find something or how to submit something or just how to use Blackboard in general. If you start early, then you won't get that feeling of, oh my gosh, there's 5 minutes until the deadline and I don't have my work submitted. So make sure that you begin at the beginning of the week and email me, of course, if you have any questions. Now, the screen that you're looking at right now is the overall Blackboard CFCC screen. It's going to list out all of the classes that you have that you're currently taking that are linked to Blackboard, which should be all of your classes, although I'm not certain on that. I am going to go into our English 111 course. Now, some of you are taking the IO3K class with me. Some of you are taking the IO2K class with me. They're exactly the same. They're just two separate sections. Those of you who are in the 3K class, I'm looking at the 2K class, but everything is basically the same. There might be just a few things like, I don't know, a couple references to the course section that I'll have to change in your course, but everything else looks identical. Maybe the colors will look different. It depends on how I feel once I do a course copy, but for the most part, it's going to be the same. If I click into this, it's going to take us to actually our course in Blackboard. This is where everything you need to be successful in this class is going to be. If I have to link you to any outside portals like Google Drive or the Purdue OWL or any online videos or anything like that, I will link it to you from this page. So you'll always be able to find content in here in Blackboard. Once you click into our course, you're going to go straight into the announcements page. This is the welcome page for our course. This is where you're going to find all the information that kind of tells you about updates to the class. Weekly videos will be posted here. This is basically the front page for our content and for our class. So when you first log into Blackboard, you're going to probably see 2 or 3 announcements. You'll see a welcome announcement. You will see, if we scroll down, you'll see an announcement reminding you to sign up for Remind, which is a text-based app on your phone that you can get, and you can easily text message me. You'll also see an announcement down at the bottom that you should have already received via email before the class started, because whenever I send announcements, I always make sure to email them to you as well. So you're going to see the newest announcement posted at the top of the course. So like next week, you'll see new announcements right up here. And actually, you're going to see something slightly different. I've got instructor mode going. Student mode looks a little bit different. It's missing just a few things here and there. But you'll see new announcements posted at the top of this page. So once you've read through the announcement section, then you'll go into getting started. And before I click in here, I just want to talk for a second about this pane over here. It's kind of like our navigation panel. You can hide it by hovering over the course menu bar here. So if you needed this screen in Blackboard to be slightly bigger, you could do that. I never hide this, though. I always have it open because I like to know where my navigation is at all times. Also at the top of your screen, right where my cursor is here, you will, once you've kind of started clicking into things in Blackboard, you'll see that this becomes a navigation panel as well. If I click into getting started, for example, this changes. This tells me that now I'm in getting started. And once I get deep into Blackboard, because yes, you can get deep into Blackboard, you'll see multiple arrows with a number of different listings up here, and I'll show that to you a little bit later on. Now, in this section of Blackboard and getting started, it's literally what it means, getting started. So once you're ready, you read your announcements, you're ready to kind of begin the course, you'll come here, you'll complete an enrollment verification assignment once you've kind of read through all of this information. If you haven't watched it already, the introduction to the syllabus video can be found here. It's pretty lengthy. It's like almost 45 minutes long. I apologize, but I just have a lot to say about the syllabus. So please take the time to view that, or at the very least, read all of the syllabus if you're not going to watch the video. You'll see the course calendar. You'll see elements of the course, which I'm basically breaking down in this video. You'll see information on the writing lab. You'll see a little bit more information about me. All of this is here in getting started. And once you've completed your enrollment verification, which y'all, here's my PSA, it's so important to do your enrollment verification, because if you don't do it by the deadline, which is Monday, February 12th, you will be unenrolled from this course. If you do it on Monday, February 13th, you'll be unenrolled. It's just a Cape Fear policy that I have to uphold, and I have no control over that. You've got to do the enrollment verification assignment before the deadline. Okay, so once you've done all your getting started stuff, then you can go into week 1. So getting started, it's just getting started. It's not even week 1. So make sure that you don't wait until the last minute to do getting started and to look at what's going on in week 1. Now, every week, which is how I organize the course, we're a 12-week course, and I make sure that every week you've got something to do. All that weekly content can be found here in the section titled Weekly Lessons and Assignments, and it's exactly what it says. You can find the lessons in here, and you can find the assignments in here. When you click in, you'll notice that I've got the enrollment verification again at the top, because it's due on the first day of week 2, so I kind of consider that to be one of your weekly assignments. After Monday, February 12th is over, that enrollment verification is going to go away. You're not going to be able to see it anymore because you can't do it. There's no point. So it's going to be gone, and you will only see this stuff here, the weekly folders. Now you can see the weekly folders right now. You just remember, you have to scroll down. Sometimes in Blackboard, you have to do a little bit of scrolling to make sure that you see everything. So if you're on the right page, you know it's the right page, you don't see what you're looking for, make sure that you've scrolled all the way to the bottom. So normally this is what you would see. You'd see week 1, week 2, 2 units, 4 weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 weeks each. And in those is kind of like what you're going to do that week. So you're probably viewing this video, I hope, in week 1, which means you haven't yet done your grammar boot camp. So I'm going to use this as our first example of kind of what to look at. When you open a weekly folder, you're going to see some instructions or like an introduction. I will be posting weekly videos in the week folders just as kind of like, here's what I want you to do this week. But I will also make sure that those are written down in written instructions, because sometimes I'll watch a video and I'll be like, what did she say? And I need to have a written copy of that information. So you'll have both verbal and written information for you, instructions, etc. For example, here you see the instructions for Grammar Bootcamp. You're going to see all of the different lessons that I want you to work through. And then you're going to see your assignment, which is the grammar test. Most of the time you're going to find the assignments at the bottom of the page, and the reason I do that is because I'm kind of using a hierarchy, whatever. I am using an organization that promotes do this first, scroll down, do this next, scroll down, do this next, scroll down, do this last. So that's kind of how I organize the class on Blackboard, which means that the first thing I expect you to look at are the instructions. The next elements that I want you to look at are the lessons, and the last thing I want you to do is the grammar test. I don't want you to do the grammar test before you look at the grammar lessons, because Well, that just doesn't make any sense. So that's how most of these are going to be organized. Now, remember before I said that this bar at the top is going to turn into navigation? This is how you can jump back a page. So I want to go back to weekly lessons and assignments. I can either jump back here and I'm in weekly lessons and assignments again, or I could start at the beginning and go to weekly lesson and assignments here, and I'm at the same page. Now, it's easy to start back from the beginning if what you want to get to was like early on in your clicking experience, but it's easier to just jump back a page using the navigation pane here if you're really far into like clicking a lot of things. And like I said, sometimes Blackboard involves lots of clicking. Now, week 2, same kind of concept as your week 1. You're going to see instructions. You're going to see the information that I want you to look at that week. And then at the very bottom, now there's a lot of videos here that I want you to look at. Don't worry, they're really short. Some of them are like 2 minutes, some are 4 minutes. But again, read the instructions, watch the videos, and then do the discussion board, because I don't think that you will have as much to say about the discussion board if you haven't contemplated the content in the videos. And I try to use like interesting videos. I love YouTube. I love looking at other people's instructions. So I like to incorporate that a lot in my class. And I hope that they'll be interesting for you, but don't do the discussion board without looking at least half the videos and then go back and look at the other half of the videos and do the next part of the discussion board, whatever. Again, the assignment is going to be at the bottom of the page, so make sure that you scroll down. I pushed the home button. That's how I got back to the top so fast. I'm going to go back a page to the weekly lessons and assignments and show you now what's in the unit folders. So instead of having week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, I put them all in a folder because I felt like the organization was a little bit easier to understand, and you could look at all the assignments for that unit at once if you wanted to. There was a lot less clicking involved when I reorganized it this way. So for those of you who have taken this class with me before, you're going to notice that the organization is slightly different, but I hope that it's just easier for you to find things. That's my goal in reorganizing. The content is for the most part the same. The essay is slightly different, that second essay, but the content is the same. The organization is just different. So if we click into Unit 1, you're going to see 3 things. You're going to see a learning timeline and due dates, and this is true for Unit 2 as well. You're going to see the lessons, and you're going to see the assignments. Again, assignments are at the bottom of the page. I want you to learn the lessons before you do certain assignments. Now, I do not want you to learn all of these. I think there's like 18 or 19 lessons. I don't want you to learn all the lessons before you even do one assignment, which is why it's crucial that you check out this document, Learning Timeline and Due Dates. It's a PDF, so you can download it, you can print it off, you can just, keep it with you, or again, do what I do. Use a planner. I love my planner. I'm really addicted to this thing. So make sure that you know when things are due. In the learning timeline and due dates document, you're going to see which week it is, specifically the dates of this week, so there is no confusion about is this week 3, is this week 4, the lessons that I want you to study this week. So again, in week 3, for example, yeah, I know there's 18 total lessons for this whole unit, but I only want you to look at 6 of them. In week 4, same thing. I only want you to look at 6 lessons. You're like, 6 lessons? Don't worry. In week 5, there's only 3 lessons. In week 6, there's only 3 lessons. In week 7, don't even worry about looking at any lessons. Just do your assignment. So you're going to see which lessons that I want you to work on each week, and then you're also going to see what assignment I want you to be working on. In some cases, there's just one assignment. In other cases, let's see here, there are 2 different assignments that I want you to be working on. So that's what this learning timeline and due dates is all about. Now, if I go back to the top, again, I'm going to use this navigation pane because I don't want to start all the way over at weekly lessons and assignments. I just want to go back one page to weeks 3 through 7. So I'm going to click here. if I used this navigation, I'd have to start all the way at the beginning. So I like to do less clicking. So I'm going to go back one page. I will show you a few things with the lessons. Now in lessons, these are organized like learning modules, which means that you're really just working with one piece of content information per page as opposed to having to scroll down and down and down and down. I feel like scrolling can be overwhelming, so I like that the way the learning modules lay out information. In a lesson, you will find annotating, for example, and I try to organize these in ABC order, although these need to be swapped for that. Anyway, they're all in ABC order. They will be by the time you watch this video. Annotating contains extra credit. So if I show you just like what a learning module looks like, you open it up and it might take a minute to load because you're going to want to see the table of contents. And in the table of contents, you'll see everything that's inside that lesson. So for this lesson, there's only two things that you need to do. Watch a video. And then now, like I said, you don't have to scroll all the way down to find all of the content. You just do one page at a time. So you can either, you have a couple places you can click. You can either click directly onto the next place you want to go, which then it would take you to this extra credit assignment. You can use the page over here, the navigation right here with these arrows. Okay. Or also there's similar navigation here with arrows here. All right. So there's a bunch of ways, which makes Blackboard somewhat confusing because there's so many ways in which you can navigate. However, at least you will always be able to find the things that you are looking for because Blackboard makes it almost foolproof. They put navigation everywhere. When you've got more than just two things per page, you'll notice that, let me find a lesson that shows this to you. Compare and contrast probably does. So there's multiple things that I want you to look at here. When you've got a lesson with multiple pages and not just two where you only can jump, back and forth, you can skip things. So I don't have to go straight to page 2. Now I can if I want to. Like after I've read chapter 10, I could go on to page 2 if I decided. However, I could also jump down like a few notes. I'm really curious as to what these notes are, so I want to go ahead and read these. Or what is this progress journal assignment? Again, assignments are going to be like the last thing because I want you to learn all of this stuff about compare and contrast before you get into the assignment. So maybe that's what you're interested in. You're like, I really want to do this assignment. I already know everything there is to know about compare and contrast. Is that true? Just make sure. Let me jump into the assignment. You can skip if you want. Now, if you do choose to skip, I really, really encourage you to go back because you never know. I mean, there might be something that you've never heard of before that I'm going to ask you about, or you have to include in your essay, and you might be confused if you skip and you don't ever go back to relearn that information. So be wary of skipping, but it is a possibility. You don't have to just, go page by page by page. All right, so those are the lessons. Now, again, I'm going to use this. There's a lot of things because, like I said, you can get deep into Blackboard. There's lots of clicking. You can get into folders. Well, I don't want to look at the lessons folder anymore. Now I just want to jump back into Unit 1. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to take me to where I saw the learning timeline, the due dates, the lessons, and then, of course, what I want to show you now, the assignments. So I'm going to open that folder, and right here I can see all of the assignments that I have for Unit 1. We have a discussion board assignment. We have a response assignment. You can see the dates in which these are due. We've got progress journal, a peer review, and of course your final essay due Monday, April 2nd. So let's say I look at the discussion board assignment. It's not just the assignment that you're going to find. It's going to be any information that I think you need to know in order to do this assignment well. So for example, I will always start with an overview, and then I might share with you guidelines for online discussions. Like I want you to read this before you begin the online discussion because I want you to know that For example, avoid using all caps because it seems like you're shouting. I want you to know that before you go and do your discussion board. Maybe something else I want you to know is what's the essay assignment. Sometimes you might click on something and it takes you to a new page. So it's important that you are prepared for that and you know all you have to do is just go back one tab at the top of your screen, or I use PC, maybe you use Safari or something because you have a Mac, you know how to navigate your online instruments. So just go back to Blackboard and get back into it, and you can find what you're looking for. Now finally, at the end of, like I said, always at the end of this learning module, you will find the assignment. So if you're ever in a hurry and you're like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot I have a discussion board assignment due today, I need to know the guidelines right away, what you can do is just jump into that assignment, click all the way to the bottom, and you should be able to find those guidelines. Now, another thing maybe I should point out here is this kind of cuts off some of the titles. So it almost looks like, for example, C and D are identical. You can use this arrow to move the table of contents to the bottom of the page. And that way you can see the title, the full title of everything that you might have to look at here. So that might help you as well. So I'm going to exit this assignment example, go back into week 3 through 7, unit 1, just to recap. In here you can find your learning timeline and due dates, your lessons, and all the way at the bottom, some of you have to scroll down, your assignments. I try to list all the content of the folder on the outside just so that you know what you're getting into, so you don't have to do too much clicking and get too confused. But again, if you can't find something, let me know. I'll point you in the right direction. In terms of navigating Blackboard, other than like the assignments and weekly content, we also have, again, back over to the left here, information on the course syllabus and the course calendar. It's pretty straightforward. The link that takes you to the syllabus that says syllabus takes you to the syllabus. You see a link here. So if you want to just view the syllabus in your browser, you can by clicking that link. You can also download a PDF by selecting the attached file. If you scroll down, you can view the video where I go through the syllabus step by step. It is a long video, but I encourage you to take a look at it. It's basically what I would go through on the first day of class if we were meeting in like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class face-to-face. Straightforward, calendar and other course information. This is the calendar and other course information. The course calendar, I believe I talked a little bit about in the welcome video, but just in case you are not looking at that video or you haven't already, the PDF opens up here and you've got access to the due dates. Now, all I put on the calendar are due dates. I don't put like what lessons you should learn each week. That you're going to have to find in the learning timeline, in the unit folders in the weekly assignment section. The reason for that is just I don't have enough room. I really like the layout here because it's a calendar. We're all familiar with it. We can see when things are due. I write, grammar test due, enrollment verification due. So it's really straightforward. It's really easy. It's something we're familiar with, and I like the layout here, but I don't have room for the lessons. So that's that. You can print it, you can download it. There's information to do both of those things right here, or buttons to do both those things. I'm going to go back to calendar and other course information because you can also find, and when I open this, you're going to notice how blank it is, but it will be finished by the time you're watching this video. You can also find the list of due dates in a document. They'll be populated here. I just haven't done that yet, but I want to go ahead and film this video. You'll find a list of due dates here. If for some reason the calendar view is too confusing for you or something you're not really good at, tables or whatever, maybe you're using a screen reader and you can't view a table. So I also will have this as an option for you. It's not finished right now when you're watching this. It will be. Let's take a look at what else is in Blackboard. So you'll also be able to email me. In fact, this will take you to the ability to email a lot of people. You can email everyone in this class. You can email all of your classmates. You can email the department chair. But what you'll probably use this for the most is emailing me. So if you select all instructor users, you'll notice that this is going straight to me. And you can type your subject, and then you can type your message here. Scroll down. If you want to attach a file, you can. Let me move myself out of the way. And click submit. And then you'll notice an email was sent to me, and I have verified that this does work. I do actually receive these emails. So you can also look at grades. You have constant access to your grades. They are always there right in front of you. Now, obviously, first, I'm a preview user, so I haven't turned anything in here. I'm not a student. I don't have a way to show you like what it looks like once things have been turned in, but what you'll notice is on this side is where you're going to find your grades. For example, the student questions and help discussion forum, you can get 5 points for that. Once you actually do it and turn it in, you're going to see a little yellow circle. That means you've submitted it, but I haven't graded it yet. Once I grade it, you'll see a 5 out of 5, hopefully. You might also see a blue circle. A blue circle is super, super important. It means you've started an assignment, but you have not finished the assignment and you have not turned the assignment in. If you see a blue circle, that means I do not have a copy of your work, and you need to get me a copy of your work as soon as possible, especially if it's past the deadline. So a blue circle means I don't have it. If you see a blue circle, make sure you turn that into a yellow circle. Yellow circle means you've submitted your work, okay? It's really important. We also have a resource center. So this is really just like a whole bunch of information that you might not look at unless you need to. There's a quick troubleshooting guide. There's information on student services. There's more information on like Blackboard. This will take you, I believe, to Cape Fear's Help Resource Center for help with like online courses and what you might need to know. You can even contact the student help desk. There's information here. So this is going to take you to an outside page. I've got more information on the writing lab, and then I also have a folder with tutorials and anything you could possibly need to know. These take you to, I believe, Google Drive posts that I've created. There's pictures in here, just how to do things that you need to do in this class. A lot of them I created a long time ago, so they might look a little different than what our class looks like, but it's basically the same. So that's what's in the Student Resources and Help Center. You'll also find in the Student Resources and Help Center is the questions and discussion forum, but I also linked that here just for quicker access. Again, this is where you will complete your enrollment verification. You have to do that enrollment verification by February 12th at midnight. And if you don't, you will be unenrolled from the course. So it's really important that you get that done. But I'm also leaving this forum open all semester long because I want you to have a place to ask questions at any time. If you have a question of me, obviously you can use the Remind app to text your question to me, or you can email it to me, especially if it's like more personal or you don't want the whole class to know that you have this question. But if you have a question that you think might be beneficial for everyone in the class, then please ask it on here. Just create a thread, type in your question, and I'll answer it really quickly. I use the subscribe function here to subscribe to this forum and make sure that anytime something's posted in here, I immediately get a notification so that I can see it right away. So that's everything. That's how to navigate Blackboard. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Hopefully you found this helpful, and this will help you get through the class more successfully, more seamlessly. But I did not mean to make this video as long as it is, so I'm going to say goodbye.